What's good, what's good, what's good? It's your boy Micah back at it again. And today, I'm going to give you guys, beginning necromancers, intermediate necromancers, tips on how you can regain your spiritual footing when you lose it. Life brings us many challenges, it brings us various circumstances. It's even more so true with death and undeath. Sometimes simply shit gets overbearing, mentally, emotionally, and physically. This is why I made that self-care video, but that covers the more magical end and the effects of death essence. This video is going to cover when you either accidentally fuck up in your path with your spirits and your sorcery, or you purposefully fuck up in your path and with your sorcery. And I'm going to basically tell you how to get back on track with that, how to regain what you lost, how to kind of like go back to square one, replot your course, and then go from there. Because this is much more efficient info than fucking ranting about how, quote, Western sorcerers are just absolute trash. It's cool to observe, and I want you guys to listen to me, and listen to me good, as the old folks used to say. It's good to observe. You need to observe, and you need to be aware of what's going on in the spiritual community, and you need to be aware of the mistakes other sorcerers are making. However, if you put too much of your focus, whether you're a YouTuber or you're just a black magician doing your own thing, if you put too much focus on what other sorcerers are doing and how they're fucking up, then through sympathetic resonance of that focus, you start to lose focus and you start to pick up the very same habits and bullshit they're picking up. So let's talk about it. I mentioned before in another video that your intent and your focus is what produces the current in death magic, in your own personal magic. Your focus over an extended period of time breeds consistency, which then breeds habitual action, which then creates the solid foundation necessary in order for you to progress along in the death current, right? So, the number one problem, or not so much problem, but the number one cause of losing your footing spiritually is a lack of focus or a destabilized focus. This can be brought about by a number of circumstances. Let's say a loved one suddenly gets cancer. Now you have to take care of them. Maybe they're on hospice. I've been there myself, where you have to take care of them for an extended period of time. They tend to become a priority, and you can sometimes not necessarily lose track of your magic, but when you're taking care of another human being, like CNAs know what the fuck I'm talking about, when you're taking care of another human being, that shit can get draining, and other shit can be put on the back burner that was once important. This can often happen for extended periods of time, and you'll start noticing that your sorcery tends to get a little bit weaker. Not too much if you already put in the work and you already got the foundation, but you'll notice you're not as sharp in the death sense, in the necromantic sense, as you used to be. Now, what you need to do is simply take a break, go for a walk, and meditate. Focus. You have to do this for an extended period of time, or maybe not, depending on how much work you put in. But simply focus and rethink in your mind where you were before this shit happened. And from there, you can plot out what meditations you need to do, what rituals you need to do, the offerings you need to give your spirits, that kind of thing. And the inner work you need to do within yourself in order to regain and come back even stronger and make that comeback. Now, there are other circumstances where, let's say, a magician curses you and your mind is affected. Maybe it's like an insanity curse or some shit like that, or some form of mental decay that is going on, to where your intellectual abilities, your cognitive abilities, your spiritual cognitive abilities, your ability to use clairvoyance, clairaudience, all the other kind of shit is affected. In that case, you need to do a cleansing, heavy cleansing. I recommend Dragon's Blood Sage. The reason is Dragon's Blood is extremely high vibrational and can banish the dead as well as other entities. It's very good for breaking curses. I think that's like That's on the same level of knowledge as the sun is hot. That's like common knowledge in the spiritual community. Sage is very good for banishing negativity and negative entities in general. However, you have to mix the sage and dragon's blood with another ingredient. Kind of like you have a base oil, then you have like the top note of the fucking fragrance along with the carrier oil. You feel me? So for that, I recommend tobacco. Tobacco is very good. I already covered this in another video, but when you mix it with dragon's blood, sage, or some other ingredient for, let's say, cleansing, it makes it like 10 times more powerful. It mixes the energies very well, and it makes them kind of like coalesce so it can have a greater effectiveness. Cleanse yourself. I recommend a 7-day cleanse for the most basic kind of curses, insanity curses, that kind of thing. If it's something really fucking heavy, like you got a motherfucker sending mort and fucking spirits of the dead and undead to you on the hourly, because sometimes it's not even the daily, it's the hourly. Some motherfuckers be on this shit. Heavy cleanse for at least 30 days. Place protections and wards around yourself. Refresh all that shit. And then go back to square one. Regain your focus. Again, see what offerings you need to make to your spirit. See what rituals you need to do for yourself. See what kind of empowerment rituals you can do for yourself. Balance your chakras. Balance your kundalini. Fucking cleanse your energy body. That kind of thing. Basic shit. Feel me? Now, the third cause of weaker sorcery is not honoring the current in which you work. Most often, this is seen with demonic entities. Nowadays, working with the infernal is more like a trend than it is a honorable practice. And what I'm trying to say is most people lose sight of the fact that you're working with a legit current of sorcery, regardless of the personal experiences and all that other kind of crap of other sorcerers. You feel me? Now, when it comes to this, one or two things can occur. Either a spirit fucked you over, because sometimes spirits just don't like certain individuals. Like, we have to keep it real. It's just like in everyday physical reality, in everyday life. You have people that do evil, fucked up shit to other people because they simply don't like them for whatever reason. That's easy to correct. Don't work with that particular spirit. That spirit is showing you, hey, we do not have a resonance. We do not match energetically. Our agendas are different. Like, we can't work together at this point. Maybe in some other point in the future we can, but right now, no. The second thing that can happen is that the spirit screws you over due to something that you either did do or did not do. This is going more into tradition. Fucking honoring the spirit that you work with. Let's say if you call upon motherfucking Belial, because there's a trend of everybody wearing and posting Belial's sigil like it's a fucking flag without truly understanding what Belial stands for. Like, I've seen this practitioner claim that he works with Belial and he works with the Abyss, and he was going to try to send him against me for quote unquote abuse of authority because I teach in my Discord server and whatnot. This is the thing about Belial, for example. Yes, Belial does deal with abuse of authority, but it's truly abuse of authority that he corrects. He doesn't go off of human perception. He doesn't go and correct somebody because you think they're being abusive with their authority when in reality they're not. You feel me? So having that misconception of this spirit, for example, can block your sorcery to the point to where you find that almost any magic you do with him has little to no effect because you're not in harmony with them and you don't truly understand his cause, his agenda, that kind of thing. You feel me? Now, in regards to what to do when you're in that kind of situation, once again, go back to square one. Look at the correspondences of that particular entity or group of entities that you are working with. Are you wearing metals that correspond to them? I.e., I'm a necromancer. I'm wearing something that corresponds to the death current that's consecrated, that my spirit's guided me to, and that it works. You know what I'm saying? Are you doing the same thing? Are you in tune with your spirits and your internal magical compass so that they can guide you? Or are you just doing your own thing based on what you think you should do, or based on what other sorcerers have told you you should do, when they don't even got the fucking understanding necessary in order to correctly guide you in working with this infernal being, or any infernal being? Now, there are times when, let's say you call upon a entity that deals with money, let's say Mammon, just as an example. We know that demons often bring challenges into our life in order to make us get past fear and all this other kind of shit. But what's often overlooked is that sometimes they bring challenges into your life as a kind of rebuke. And you're supposed to get the message subconsciously and consciously and in your spirit, which is, okay, I need to go back and correct this ritual. I was not wearing this talisman or this ring that resonated with this entity, and this is probably why I'm experiencing these difficulties. Good example, in Haitian Vodou, there is such a thing as consecrated jewelry, consecrated rings that are dedicated to a particular Loa. What does this mean? This means that anytime you summon that Loa, or you fucking do altar work for it, put out offerings for it, you wear your fucking shit. Because otherwise they're going to look at you and be like, where's your ring? Where is it? And you really expect this to work? You know what I'm saying? It's a way of honoring and staying in harmony with that entity. That way you don't get fucked over, your family doesn't get fucked over, that kind of thing. This is even more serious and prevalent when you're working with demonic entities. Because in reality, they take this shit very fucking seriously, yo. It's not a fucking trend. Like, it's not some kind of demon liberation culture and all that other kind of shit. Like, this is very fucking serious. There is a protocol that you go by when working with the demonic lords or any set of entities, death gods, the dead. Fucking, if you even decide to work with angels and celestials, there's a fucking protocol. There's a way you gotta live your life. You feel me? In order to maintain that state of grace and purity. Fucking Christian witches know this shit. You feel me? And oftentimes, as black magicians, when we work with the infernal, we get lost, we lose focus, and we get seduced by the idea of what the demonic can bring. Not just power, wealth, and greed and all that other kind of shit. But it's like, most sorcerers get wrapped up in the fact that their energy promotes things we would normally consider sin up under the Judeo-Christian flag. This sparks a need, or it satisfies a need for rebellion. And it's the wrong kind of rebellion. By wrong kind of rebellion, I mean you're rebelling against a system, which sometimes is necessary in order to break out of it. Because people are held captive in their minds and spirits, and you need that liberation, so to speak, by committing these quote-unquote sinful acts in order to see, okay, it's actually not sinful, and on a deeper level, you can gain empowerment and learn to enhance yourself and your spirit and reach your ascent and apotheosis through these means, i.e., sex before marriage is not sinful. Sex is sex. Sex is a way, a path to your apotheosis if you have a resonance and affinity with that kind of sorcery. You learn how to take care of yourself. You move on to fucking tantra and all the other good shit. And you learn how to manipulate the world accordingly using that means. That's essentially what infernal entities and devils teach in various capacities and manners. And yes, it is about creating physical change in the world. However, the physical is not all there is. There's the mental, there's the astral, there's the causal plane, there's the fucking formless plane where all of creation comes from, all the other kind of shit. And so these demons, when you're working with them and you're truly in harmony, they're not just going to teach you how to manifest money and all the other kind of shit. They're going to teach you how to change your mindset, remove psychic blockages, all the other kind of thing. It's the same thing for when you're working with any entities or gods or whatever from a particular current. Now, to kind of move off of that train, another cause of losing focus is attempting to mess with a current of sorcery that you have no use for, that does not work for you. This can present a wide variety of problems. It could be either because you just don't resonate with that current of sorcery. You know what I'm saying? You don't resonate with his spirits, his gods, his ideology, all other kind of shit. Or it could be very similar to a past life issue. Maybe you betrayed a pact that you made with one of those spirits of that current of sorcery, and now you're not blacklisted, but you're kind of cut off from that current for the time being until you resolve that issue. This can be on both the human side, and it can be a wrongdoing on the spiritual side. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you had an enemy that fucked with, let's say, Norse sorcery, and they decide to cut you off from it. That way you can't access what's already within you. That's somewhat easy to break. Cleansing, curse breaking, seal breaking, and a little bit of astral projection for doing a type of soul retrieval, because that part of your soul was taken away. Not even so much taken away, it was just suppressed. You open up that suppressed part of your soul, you have access to that current of magic again. You feel me? Now, in regards to when the error is on your part, it's very simple. If you know a current of sorcery does not work for you, don't fuck with it. Gain greater understanding of that current, greater harmony within it, and then there's a 99% chance you'll find where you went wrong. Then you can start working with that current again and having it work for you, getting results, all that good shit. So to kind of recap as I close the video, regain your focus. Take a break, go for a walk, meditate, and retrace your spiritual steps. What were you doing before you lost focus? How is your routine? How is your consistency? And reestablish that. Give whatever offerings you need to give to your spirits. Do whatever cleansings you need to do. Reverse curses, break curses, etc. As you do this over an extended period of time, your magic will come back more amplified, slowly but surely. And you'll be able to continue your path and come out even stronger than what you were. If you fucked up with the spirit, give the offerings, make the apologies, and go from there. Correct yourself, correct your internal, your mental, your mind. Find out what blockage fucking produced the circumstance that you find yourself in. I'm going to say that again. Find the psychic blockage in your mind that produced the circumstances you are in. That is the true meaning of your thoughts create reality. Not every single thought you have in your mind, but those psychic and unconscious blockages that you're not aware that you have, that dictate your physical action and dictate the way you think about things. If you can correct that, you will easily find yourself back in harmony with your spirits, your guides, your entities, or whatever. And that goes for both the RHP and the LHP as well, basic principles. So, yeah, past that, that's it. I'm going to conclude this video. Please like, share, subscribe. Check out my Patreon. I'm going to be adding some more content in there soon. And if you have any questions, leave a comment, email me, and we'll take it from there. So, deuces.